In our previous video, creating a multi-sheet detail report using Jet Dynamic Worksheets, we looked at creating a vendor detail report from our Dynamics NAV data. We gathered data from NAV's value entry table and used Jet Dynamic Worksheets to list the data for each vendor on its own tab in Excel. In this video, we are going to show how to create a summary page for this type of report using Excel's INDIRECT function. An example of such a summary might be consolidating a series of departmental reports whereby each department's worksheet is dynamically generated by Jet. If you use Jet to create the summarized data, the performance can be much slower than if we just used Excel to reference the data totals on each sheet. On the Details page, our report lists the document number, the posting date, the item number and the item description, the quantity, and the cost. Now we want a report that provides a summary page of vendors and how much we bought from each vendor during a specified period. We are still going to use Jet to create a list of vendors and add what country they are in. The vendor number is created as a unique list. The name and country are extracted using the record key technique. For more information on these techniques, please watch our video, List Techniques with Jet Reports. However, rather than using Jet to re-extract data from the database and calculate the purchases, which is what will slow performance, why not just grab the already existing amount from each vendor detail page? Well, we have a few challenges. The first one is that Jet is dynamically generating the rows of vendors as well as dynamically generating the worksheets. If they were static, we could simply point to the worksheet for each vendor, but that's not going to work here because the worksheet names will change with each vendor, and we may have different vendors when we change the report filters. Furthermore, on each vendor page, the total is not always in the same cell. We can overcome this by using Excel's INDIRECT function. This function returns a reference, and there's several practical applications for its use. If you perform an internet search for this, you'll find many sites with great illustrations of how to use it. In our application, we want to reference information on another worksheet. Let's go back to our vendor activity page and make one minor addition. At the top of the page, we're going to put a reference to the total line. We need to keep this row hidden so it doesn't show in the report. This way, every time a page is dynamically generated, no matter how long the report is, that cell will return the total for the worksheet and it will be in the same cell on every sheet. Back on our summary page, we'll refer to that cell for the total sales by vendor. But remember, that sheet name is going to keep changing, so we cannot just point to that cell. When we generate each sheet, each worksheet tab is the vendor number. We are also creating a list of those same vendors here on the summary page. In our INDIRECT function, we can point to that dynamically generated vendor number to get the sheet name and then tell it what cell to look at on that sheet. The real trick here is to get the syntax right. The first part of the string is a single quote within a set of double quotes without any spaces. We'll add an ampersand, and then we'll reference the vendor number on the same row as this function. Then add another ampersand. Then we need to tell Excel it's a sheet name by adding an exclamation mark. To do that, we need a single quote and exclamation mark within a set of double quotes. Now that we have the sheet name, we just have to tell it what cell. We just have to pop in that cell reference after the exclamation mark and before that last quotation mark. Now when we run the report, Excel will return that total for each vendor. And that's all there is to it. While this example was fairly simple and it didn't take long to run this report, you'll find this technique useful when calculations are more complex and there are a large number of worksheets being generated. This is especially useful for reports like a consolidated aging report for a multi-company organization. To make it easy to navigate to the different worksheets, please see our video on automatic hyperlinks with Jet Reports. Thank you for watching.